You're muted. We're not.
Oh.
Ooh. What a plot
So I'll
twist.
be your DM for tonight, actually.
Quick on your feet. I like that. That's cool.
Thank you.
There we go. I found it. I realized what was happening there. My OBS layout, the audios, when they came in, I'm always used to having my audios at the top. And for some reason, when we developed A Cold War in Hell, it put the main audio at the top, and then there's all the other ones like the cameras, the nameplates, all this other junk that I don't want. And then it lists my snowball mic, so I missed it. So thank you.
Thank you
And,
so much, Spicy Shih Tzu.
And let's see, I think we should give Alex 2 plot points and Kitty Doe 2 plot points, because Kitty Doe was willing to step in as the DM, and maybe with chat's permission, we'll take advantage of that tonight. So, was it chat that mentioned that? Because
yes,
Yep.
Spicy Shih Tzu.
then chat has earned more inspiration, so let's get that changed right now, because when they do something awesome like that, they get to be rewarded. So there you go.
I should totally use it this session.
Yeah, you know, at any point, don't forget, chat, those plotters' inspiration are yours. You are the plotters, you are the plot points chat group, you are our 12th man, and you can say, like right now, you could be like, give so-and-so inspiration. It is not one person that controls them, it's whoever's in chat, and they're there for you to be used. And you'll know who has chat because you'll get something really funky like this, which our players have never seen before, but it's really kind of cool.
I just got called out hard by chat.
So see,
Dang.
you can get like
Alex
inspiration
seems to
and
only
it'll let
have
everybody
5
know.
shirts.
It's not that. He just wears them on the day. So he has a Thursday shirt, he has a Friday shirt, he has a
I
Saturday.
just see the,
Very organized.
the background shirts that never
like,
seem to change.
Yeah. Listen, it's Rona season.
Oh, bringing it
Who's gonna
back
see?
there, huh?
I think that's the perfect segue. Alex, why don't you take over, introduce yourself, say hi, and then you pick your Vic.
All right. Hi, I'm Alex. I apparently only own 5 shirts. I play Rembrandt, a slightly troublesome tiefling who's surrounded by way more troublesome compatriots, so blame them, not me. I do a podcast called 3 Minds with my other 2 of my other siblings, and I'm a full-time student. Let's toss it over to Kitty Doe, our would-be DM.
Why me? Hi, Kitty Doe here. I do YouTube sometimes. Working on an animation right now, and I'm trying to put up a speed drawing because it's been a while since I've been able to put up an animation. I keep trying to upgrade my assets, which is proving to be difficult, but that's beside the point. I will be playing Huxley tonight, the resident cleric. Very lovely, very cinnamon roll. Much excite. I will pass it over to... the thing that comes to my mind first is your character's name, Nerida. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm Stranger. I play Nerida, as cited. She is your resident Rouget. As far as I go, I run a little podcast called The Deck of Many Queers, and it's kind of cool. We do D&D, we do it once a week. Y'all get to see it 3 times a week because we upload 3 episodes a week because we're kind of crazy. It's pretty cool. Yeah, let's pass it over to Colton.
Hi, my name's Colton. I play Klaak, a Goblin Barbarian who has too big of a sword for his ability. He is kind of a fun little grouchy little guy, and I like playing him. I have been doing a lot of Magic the Gathering now during the week. It's pretty nerdy. And I thought about streaming the climb to Plat, but I did hit Plat, so now I'm in the sweaty leagues, as I've been told. And I'll pass it to Eric.
Yeah, my name's Eric. I play the giant rock monster known as B.O.S.E. He's an interesting character. Very kind of not the best person to have the straightforward conversation with. But other than that, really, I don't stream anything else other than technically this. but I am a counselor and I am in the Marine Corps. So that's pretty much what I am and who I am. So yeah.
Sweet. And I'll take it over from there.
We have a request from chat.
Ooh.
After intros, can you kind of explain inspo? Inspiration. I'm sure. I'm earned 3 for y'all, but I'm not too sure about it. I've seen it used in our D&D campaign to change the situation slightly. Does it work the same way? Yes and no. Every DM can mutate, change things. We're always a teaching stream, so Spicy's going to get an inspiration just for asking that, and then I'm going to go over exactly how that works here. Boom. There you go. How inspiration works. Rules as written. Characters can earn inspiration. Characters may then, before they roll, say, I am using my inspiration to gain advantage on a roll, which means they get to roll 2 dice and pick the highest. So sweet. They might do it during combat, an ability check, whatever they like. The key things being that they must do it before they roll. They can't say, oh, I got a 20 and I don't want to roll it, or oh, I got a 1, I want to roll it. It's used in advance. This is different from Bardic Inspiration, which obviously sounds very similar, but just adds to a roll. So this is Plotter's Inspiration. The plot players get to assign it whenever they see somebody who doesn't have it. They can choose it at any time. And this is... So does this alter the plot? Well, if you consider the fact that you might be going up for an epic strike on a dragon or a big boss, and the fact that you really want the person to hit, or they're making an ability check such as a death save or something, and you're like, dude, you have inspiration, use it. We don't want to see your character die. So it's really huge. The players cannot dip into that pool. It has to be given by a viewer. Viewers earn it. Viewers get to give it. Viewers get to do lots of different things. So now, how you know when it's happening is like I'm turning some on right now. You see, so now this is what it would be. And it's like, oh, everybody has inspiration. And let's say Nerida chooses to use it. I would then turn it off. So the viewers would see immediately that, hey, we can give an inspiration out. Ideally, if you guys had enough, you want to keep the players filled on inspiration all the time. It doesn't mean they're going to use it on their next roll. It just means it's available to the players so that the player can use it when they want. Now, a player can earn their own inspiration at any time in my game. As I said, D&D does this. For me, it's when they bring in their backstory or their feature, other things that normally you wouldn't know by just a quick glance. So things that really deepen the depth of their characters. And even I, as the DM, sometimes miss it. So the players, you might hear them say, hey, DM, that's from my backstory, or that's this. Because the DM's juggling 10,000 things. Unlike the players who said, I'm playing Nerida, or I'm playing Huxley, or I'm playing B.O.S.E. The DM's playing every other person in the universe and juggling that. So occasionally your DM misses it. Never be afraid to gently encourage your DM at your table to say, hey, DM, I think this might be worth so-and-so. And you'll hear our players do that. Eric, who's playing B.O.S.E, might say, hey, look, what Colton just did with Klaak is pretty awesome. I didn't know that about his past. I think he deserves inspiration or a plot point or something like this. We're a team together, so we do it together. So, all right, Spicy knows what it is, says, I got you, so we can move on from there. Let's not beat a dead horse. We're already 9 minutes in. So saying a little bit of the background, where we left off is these characters are inside of a tavern called The Wall. The Wall is located in the Harrowing Way, which splits the mountain range of the name The Wall as well. So here they're inside this tavern. They met up. They found out that, wow, they recognized one another a little bit. But then they got into their own shenanigans, from cow killing to invading back rooms that were having their own private meetings to there is a dead body on a couch, but nobody seems to have noticed that yet. And our players even earned some golden crits based off that because I misread some of my notes and thought they'd already realized it. This is actually why I usually like to tell people where we left off. They murdered a poor innocent cow. That is absolutely true, Knight. You are correct. That cow deserved nothing. The poor man with his cows. The cow keeper. All right, so they left off, and according to my notes, the oh god, last scene was the hug, yeah. So they were encountering some individuals who are kind of trying to take advantage of them since they'd done this whole cow killing thing, made a kerfuffle in the middle of town. And they actually found out there was two groups here, one from the north, one from the south, who kind of helped to manage things inside the town. They're armed, and the group was being extorted for some stuff. Well, that was when the Waywatch comes in, or the Wayward, and these individuals, the Wayward, who tend to dress in black, are the actual official police force. They only give others the rights to monitor things, and you knew they were the people in charge because the other two groups cowered away from them, ended up getting chased off. And when B.O.S.E decided to shove the leader of the Wayward down, it initiated, of course, some negative back, and Huxley and B.O.S.E together started stepping in trying to mediate things while some other characters were inside the tavern. And this all climaxed in this epic hug. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you really need to watch last episode, because it was an awesome counseling session where we really got down to some dad issues and some other things. A lot of tears started flowing, and they brought this individual into the tavern where the entire group met around him. There was some more exposure of soul and heart and other things, while Remy basically flipped this guy off, pissed him off, and did everything he could to just break the situation. So thanks, Remy, for that. You're a real team player there. And what ended up happening, it was really kind of funny. They're still all together. I don't remember if Remy had slunk off or not. I didn't put that in my notes. But
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't. I had stayed cautiously nearby during that whole occurrence. I think.
And for future episodes, during the 5-minute countdown, I'm going to start recounting some of this if I don't put it as a write-up, so that we're not cutting into the stream for it. So for those of you that do want to tune in, you're going to want to be there for the 5-minute countdown when we first go live and talk about the history of what's going on. So, can I give inspo to Kitty? Of course. So let me adjust that right now. Boom, boom, boom. Huxley. Boom. You now have inspiration, Huxley, and I will adjust the plotter's inspiration accordingly. Boom, done. My cows, yes. This is good. And the other 4 of you can suck it because you don't have inspiration. It's like, haha. See, Chat is holding out on all of you. Make them laugh. Make them laugh. Chat, have high standards. Rogues in back room. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I think that's good enough. Let's start it off with, nobody was at the back room door because I screwed that up last session when Huxley had been approaching it. I think we were all at the table. Is that correct?
I think so.
And my notes say that the Wayward had just walked in to the main door, come behind him.
The other ones did, yeah.
Yep, the ones that had chased off the Reds and the Browns.
We
Yeah.
just finished hearing about the the messengers that had been murdered recently.
Okay.
I
That's
know
right.
that at one point I had actually asked him, I tried to ask him, the Wayward, about these murders, but I don't know that he caught it because it was in the middle of a different conversation. So
No problem. The gentleman, if that's what he can be called. I didn't write down his voice. I had a voice for him. Darn it. I usually keep voice notes. I didn't write it down. So this will be like alternating, he's going to
6
sound
voices
different this
in one
week than
character.
last week. I hate when people change their voices. It's worse when it happens
Happens to the
mid-session.
worst of us.
Looks over at you, and he says, well, we're assuming they're murders anyway. Their bodies are dead, broken, bit of blood, so yeah, I'd probably call them murders. He goes, but really the question isn't about them. The question is, why does your ring match the symbols on these? How are you connected with all this? The one of the Wayward who's entered the building comes over to him, leans down, whispers in his ear a little bit, and you see the man who's just asked you about this nod, does a couple hand motions, which, Nerida, I'd like you to make a perception roll for us, first one of the night.
alrighty.
Well, let's roll 20, but that's not showing what I wanted to show. I wanted to show our Oh, sadly, I'll jump over to the map for a
Perception,
second.
the thing we all know that I'm really good at. That's gonna be an oh. That's a 1, a modified 1. Even though on my dice it looked like it landed on a 12, but whatever. D&D Beyond.
Sorry about that, chat. It's supposed to be, and it was working earlier. It's supposed to be showing roll 20, the rolls there, and it appears to have disappeared. For some reason, the Discord is overriding it and not going away. Oh, I know exactly why. Never mind. Sorry. DM technical difficulties. Wow, so yeah, Nerida, that alcohol is still affecting you. And let's not forget, you actually do have disadvantage on everything. Nerida decided to down the equivalent of 9 drinks in about 30 seconds.
I didn't know how strong it was, let's be fair. But I did decide to have 3 shots. I thought it was just going to be normal strength liquor. I asked for the strong stuff, and I did receive.
Yes, you did. She got the equivalent of the Bacardi 151 in a glass and just chug, 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 poof. And there was passing out, and there was puking and other things. So
yeah.
But the puking's good. She's alive. She's not dying of alcohol poisoning now, which was about to... She was about to wipe out her own character first session. I was like, oh, wow, that's a thing. So, now at least we can go back to the main screen and we'll know why that didn't show up. I'll bet you that'll... Yep, look at that. Da-da-da-da. It works now. All right. So, Nerida, you didn't notice as he does some hand motions to the other guy, and the other wayward who's leaning in nods and gives some commands to the other individuals. It's so quiet and whatnot that really you guys can't tell what was being said there. I feel like I'm missing something. There was a question asked, and I apologize. What was the question? He had a question for you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he had a question for you.
So he now looks back at Nerida waiting. And while the rest of you are...
we've already been over this. No, I'm not connected.
Clearly,
at least as far as I know.
Clearly, by the symbol on your ring and the symbol on these stones, you are. Otherwise, why would you be so interested in about the murders and whatnot?
Well, you're the one who brought them up. It seems very strange that I should have a symbol. And did you say that they all had these symbols on them?
Each one of them had one of these stones. Crushed, broken.
Interesting.
And you said you thought they were sending stones.
We do. We think they're specifically message stones. That's what our resident arcanists say.
I didn't think stones with stones and magical stones that broke so easily.
They don't.
Precisely. So why would somebody be trying to keep you from getting a message? You said that previously. You said that you weren't... That messages might come here for you. Correct?
Possibly. I mean, they might come from me anywhere.
So why would individuals be seeking you out, and why would someone want to stop them?
That is a good question. I do not know. In fact, it worries me a little.
Now, shall we start talking about the cow in the room? The blood on the floor, the cow that's been dragged out back, and why
we already
you come
said
here?
It's been paid for, it's been agreed upon, it's been dealt with. It just has to be cleaned up by the people who are going to be paid by the money we already paid.
I'm glad to hear that you've resolved it. My issue is with why it started in the first place. Oh, why is he talking in a normal voice? I gotta switch that back. Yeah. We'll get him back into his voice. He wants to know why it started in the first place.
It's that rancher. He just lets his cows go through the streets and everything. I don't understand how you people live here.
The cowkeeper, he explains that the cowkeeper's always been a faithful individual and that they haven't had an issue before, and that transporting cows to the north is something that the north thrives on. In fact, you actually learn a little something about that. I guess they don't keep cows in the north. That's strictly a from the south of the wall issue. Remy, you don't need a history check. You know why. It's because of sacrifice of animals and whatnot, which is predominantly used up there.
Yes, eating beef is more of an underling thing, from my understanding.
Oh, let's see.
I mean,
Who's been to the wall or the harrowing past before? I don't think Nerida has. Huxley, I don't know if you went in it. B.O.S.E definitely would not. Klaak, you may make a history check.
I'm sure Klaak's great at these. I bet he reads books all the time.
Somebody might have told me.
Okay. So much for that check. That did not work.
Yeah.
What's
Sorry,
history
buddy.
for, anyways?
Okay.
Some old man talking sometime, I think. Something happened.
Don't strain yourself, Klaak. Anyway.
Well, the reality is Klaak does know what Remy's referring to. And he's actually referring to the ancient goblins who lived underneath the mountains. It's actually where you just came from. So you're not sure quite why your ancestors would have had cows under the mountains, but, you can fill in the details from there. Clearly, Remy has a deep appreciation for goblin history.
Oh. Good.
It's been quite a long day. Sorry, I don't think we actually ever got your name. A lot of emotions, though, and quite tiresome. And it sounds like you have a lot more on your plate than just cows. It's been resolved. Is it? I genuinely mean no offense in saying this, but is it really all that important why it happened, as long as it doesn't happen again?
He explains that it's incredibly important to him as one of the individuals who keeps the peace from exploding here inside the harrowing way. You find out also, again, he emphasizes that he controls just this, what he refers to as the 8 blocks. You're not sure what he means by blocks here within the harrowing way. B.O.S.E, your passive perception, let me get over here to it on my sheet. I think B.O.S.E, because of where you're standing, is good. Yeah. Hey, B.O.S.E, that door at the back has opened about an inch or two and closed again. You know that somebody keeps looking out from it.
All right. B.O.S.E is kind of on edge right now. He doesn't know whether or not to tell his short Klaak about it, or else maybe he might start another fight. But he is going to kind of stare ominously. Like, he's clearly, if anybody looks at him, he is clearly not invested in the conversation that's at the table, but he is staring at the back.
I'm just, as a viewer here, how do we know where the heck you're staring? You just have 2 gems stuck in your head. Do they move or something? It's like...
Well, okay, clearly, okay.
I'm like,
let me be more descriptive then. So his whole body is just jutted towards the direction of the door.
That's awesome. Thank you. You could have a plot point for that. Because I was like, all the pictures is this stone with a couple of gems in it. I'm like, how the heck do I know where he's looking? I needed that. I appreciate that. Definitely worth the plot point.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, the cow keeper never had a problem before, but he had a problem today, so now it's resolved. Won't happen again, I'm sure.
He motions behind him, and the other guards move back towards the door a little bit. He goes, "Good. Some things don't need to be discussed. Do I make myself clear?"
Certainly. What did you say your name was?
Aris.
What was that?
Artis.
Aris?
Yeah,
Certainly.
like artist. It's not that hard. 2 syllables, man. Is.
I'm very familiar with one of those syllables.
Really? Is that a friend of yours?
No,
I hear it has a demonic origin. And he looks over towards Remy. You don't know any demons named Is, do you?
Is a common word.
No, can't say I've had the pleasure, no.
Well, he says, I don't expect we'll be running into each other again, so, right? I don't expect that you'll be needing to use my name, right?
Of course
Looks over
not.
towards Huxley specifically.
Why would I need to use your name?
Exactly. Because nothing happened here, right?
Oh, of course not.
Good. Because if something did, I'd have to be taking you to the chambers.
Like, bedroom chambers? Because I don't swing that way.
He looks at you, tilts his head to the side, and he says, No! The chambers beneath the wall. The ones that nobody comes back from. Not unless the Waylords want you out of there.
I've
He's
never
like,
heard of those.
"You really
chambers.
are new
Maybe
here,
that's
aren't
because
you?"
everybody that's been down there hasn't come back, though, to tell me about them.
No, but they're friends
I don't
usually.
think you want to know more.
Well, I admit I'm sort of curious, but all right. I am fulfilled with my knowledge here.
Real knowledge seeker, this one. Yes. Yes. No need to ever use your name again. Ever. We'll ever meet again. Have real loss on our part.
Eris looks over towards B.O.S.E and he's like, What is with you? Because you've changed position.
What? Nothing. Please have a wonderful day.
He gets up from the table, looks at all of you, says, The least you can do is help out Czar. Get this place cleaned up. And he doesn't wait for a response. He turns around, walks back to his men, and heads out of the front of the tavern.
Have a good day.
Well, that was thoroughly uncomfortable.
B.O.S.E is gonna get up. Well, he doesn't have a seat. He's gonna just stand up from a kneeling position, and start walking towards that weird door.
B.O.S.E, where are you going?
B.O.S.E, how many integrated stone do you have right now?
Just the first tier, so like 60 pounds worth.
So, yeah, he's got these boulders inside him, so as he walks, you're hearing this crunch of various stone and whatnot in his form. He starts walking towards the back, and of course, he's so big, he kind of blocks your vision when you guys are at the table, and he goes over there. He starts walking towards the door. B.O.S.E, as you're walking towards the door, it opens. And you see 3 figures in there. 2 humans and a goblin, and the goblin's walking out at the front. The others can't see you can't see this because you're basically a nice big wall of vine and rock.
Okay, so B.O.S.E is pretty much gonna say,
For what reason did you have to peek in our conversation over there?
This little goblin looks up at you, says, What the hell are you? You know what? Doesn't matter. Get out of the way. And he starts going to walk around you. The two others behind him, one is what appears to be, and because you're familiar with the race, elf. One appears to be an elf, and you're not sure if the other one is quite an elf because the skin color is a little bit darker.
interesting. B.O.S.E is gonna talk to them now. I guess he's just gonna let that little tiny guy pass by. It's not like he's gonna do anything, so to speak. And
He's gonna. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Pretty much, B.O.S.E is just gonna say,
And you two, are you with the little one?
Before I give you their response, Remy, you recognize a voice. You just heard Finch's voice say, What the hell are you?
Remy looks over to Nerida and Huxley and says, "We need to get B.O.S.E away from him now."
Why? I mean, sure, I'm on it.
That man is not someone we need to be involved with. Let's get a table, maybe in the back room, and just get B.O.S.E away from him. All right, no need to draw any more attention than the giant colossal already has. Don't you agree? He's your friend. Don't want to get in trouble. And he looks over to Klaak.
Oh, okay. And I'll get up and start walking over to B.O.S.E.
Huxley will also be doing so.
Klaak.
Remy is just like keeping his back to that the entire. He does not want to be seen. Is doing everything he can to not be seen.
So Remy's remained hunched out at the table. Nerida, are you going to stay with him?
Actually, Remy
Yes.
will start walking over to the back. If there's are there any free tables back there?
You would be walking pretty much by Finch, who's coming forward.
By him? By
Yeah,
him?
if you
Never
take a look
mind.
at the
Stay-
map,
yeah.
you'll see it on the screen.
Okay.
You don't have to walk right by him. I mean, you can take a circuitous route, obviously, but yeah, he's coming from the back room, and the only other back room would be next to that.
I'm gonna just, seeing that he's very concerned, I'm just going to just slowly get up and just slip an arm under his arm, and just kind of just start tugging him to the back room, putting myself between this person he doesn't want to be seen and him.
Okay.
Remy whispers a thank you.
Nerida
Mommy.
gets up, does this blocking thing as B.O.S.E starts to challenge the other two. The Goblin comes around and finds himself face to face with some mutant freak of a goblin with muscles the size of his head, still dragging this huge sword, which is leaving a groove in the floor. Klaak, uncarried about the floor at all of this wooden tavern, as he just drags it over. And as the goblin gets in front, he goes, "Circus come to town? What is this?"
Lore Master, are these more people you were waiting for, or what?
No, they just seem concerned with our whereabouts.
You mean like a spy?
Not quite. Just annoying.
Hey, what are you all spying about?
Spies? What are you talking about spies for? I'm trying to find his voice for Finch. Finch looks at you and goes, "Spies? What are you talking about spies for?" He goes, "Ain't got no spies. Boys, you spies!" And he leans around, looks at B.O.S.E. The two that you have just challenged, B.O.S.E., respond to you, look at you, and they're like, "Out of the way, Gollum." And they try going to both sides of you. Basically, whether it's flanking or whether it's to get around you is not immediately clear.
Well, then clearly B.O.S.E takes it as a flank. So he's just gonna try to, like, as they try to come to his sides, just back up more. So that way they don't get to the sides.
B.O.S.E.
Narrows
backs up,
something about-
bumping into the little goblin who'd already passed him and gotten around him, but had been stopped by the others. The other two individuals, the one gets stopped by the bar, which B.O.S.E. had kept to one side. So it's kind of a little blocked off. Now there's these two goblins toe-to-toe. Remy, you're able to, with Nerida's help, apparently make your way to the back room and out of sight, leaving Nerida in a position where she has lots of opportunity to do all sorts of things, whether it's going with Remy, getting to the other back room, going to the behind these individuals. But Huxley and Klaak have basically created a minor wall stopping Finch, the goblin from the north with the southern accent, from going beyond them. B.O.S.E. is beyond him, and B.O.S.E. has the other two in a controlled situation. Finch looks over towards Huxley, looks towards Klaak, and says, "I suggest you get out of my way right now. You don't want to be a part of this. Listen, freaks, if you want the circus, I'll tell you where the circ's at, man. He goes, anywhere south. He goes, you guys are already too far north, quite clearly. And he looks over at Klaak and he says, why are you hanging out with all these trash anyway?
I don't know. The big one says we have to be here to meet some people.
Oh, hell,
But I
you
don't
met
know if we
me.
met 'em.
He reaches
Yeah,
out
I
and
guess
goes to
so.
slap you on the shoulder. He goes,
Okay.
you and me can be best friends.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. You want to sign up? Nerida, you
What are we
continue to
signing
sneak
up
towards the
for?
back room. Go ahead, Philly.
What are we signing up for?
He goes, be part of my crew. You want to make money, don't you? Every goblin deserves to make money.
I'm not much of a joiner.
Oh,
don't
hell,
know.
you need friends, don't you? You're with this crap. Seems totally oblivious about saying this about Huxley, who's standing right there next to you.
Oof.
Aw.
You know,
I don't think I'm a piece of crap.
I don't think you are either, Huxley. We did a very good thing with that man. And that hug meant a lot to me.
Thanks. That means a lot.
You know, I'm trying to do something with my life, and I'm the roots. And I feel like if I was to sign up with you all, I would just be a leaf in a tree, maybe.
Yeah, but trees are mighty. You want to be part of something mighty, don't you? I mean, look at you. And he reaches out and starts squeezing your muscles. He goes, you're built like a tree.
That's what I'm saying. I'm the root, though.
Hell no, boy. You're going to be the branches. You're going to smack people. You're going to hold things up. You're going to provide shade. Shade for me and shade for others. By this time, and I'll get back to you in just 1 second, by this time, the two individuals that were attempting to flank B.O.S.E before have given up, since it would really require for the one to hop around the bar. And now they're both trying to go on your left, B.O.S.E, to get around to where their boss is. Do you want to physically stop them from getting to him?
No, I'm gonna keep my back like away from them. I want to stay forward. I want them both in front of me at all times.
Okay. So you impose yourself, which is pretty easy considering your size, to stop them from actually getting towards their boss. Nerida, I'm going to cut over to you for a moment. You're at that
Sorry to
back
interrupt.
door.
Thank you, Samurai Jesus, so much for the raid. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Much love.
Woo!
Woo! Shout out!
Words.
Thank you!
Welcome to
Woohoo!
Plot Points. We
Welcome.
play D&D.
Yep.
We're a bunch of nerds.
Bunch of nerds having fun, friends at the table. It's 5e time, and we get together once a week, and we just have a good time for folks like you who are chiming in. And you know what? All of you who are coming in with your raid, you're able to actually be part of the show. Chime in on the chat. Talk about what you want the characters to do, and you'll earn some plotter's inspiration to give people inspiration right here, right now. And I just realized I actually didn't have poor Huxley's inspiration up on the screen. There you go, Huxley. You got your inspiration back. So Nerida, at the back door. Are you looking to go in it? It's closed at the moment.
I'm going to very quietly and carefully test the knob.
Seems open, unlocked.
All right, and I'm going to quietly open the door.
You open the door and you see an individual with his back towards you who appears to be cleaning some things off of a table. He doesn't appear to have noticed you initially.
Mm. Oh boy. I am going to very quietly step in front of the door and then very quietly just lean into it so it closes. And then I'm going to lean forward behind his ear and I'm going to go, boop.
Make a performance roll for me.
Sure.
Gosh. Boo!
Yep. 18.
Oh, there we go.
You say, boo, ever so gently. The individual startles, literally knocks into the chair on his one side, spills something on the table that rattles like coins, and spins around, drawing a blade.
backhand the blade so it doesn't point at my face. I say, now, that's rude.
We're going to say you're able to use your reaction to deflect away the dagger, but he didn't actually go to attack you. You just go out, he points it towards you, you slap it away, tell him he's being rude, and he says, "What do you want? Who are you? Get out of here."
And I thought this room was unoccupied.
"No, it's rented. Get out." And he goes to kind of push you back a little bit, close the door.
Rented? By whom? And I'm going to sign in Thieves' Cant, the same thing that I just said.
He pauses as you do this. Thieves' Cant, for our viewers, is a way to interject into what would normally appear a very normal conversation hidden messages, so that it can go from everything from positions of cups to subtle little moves of the hand to key phrases and words which may seem obscure and silly. But to another thief who's been trained in the same thing, it can reveal everything from danger, treasure, many subtle clues. They're usually ideas rather than specific words, but you can also include those too. Oftentimes, the conversation that results sounds nonsensical to anybody nearby, unless you've been trained in this hidden talent. So you make some of the motions wanting to know who, and the individual's eyes go wide, and he says, "Where did you train?"
I give him just a coy smile.
You start to engage him, and he pulls open the door, inviting you into the back.
I thought I was already in the back room.
The door had only opened partially. I thought you said boo to him. I didn't realize you were actually fully inside.
Yeah. Okay, I go in.
Okay. So, yeah, because he was trying to shove you back, close the door and get you out. And once you're inside, he closes the door. We'll cut back to the front. Huxley. You're seeing this now where basically Finch, this goblin, this southern goblin, who's trying to get Klaak to be part of him, is almost unconcerned by this massive bouldery B.O.S.E who's at his back. He's insulted you now a couple times.
He has insulted me a couple times, but Huxley, he, feeling upset. He's not one to act out for being insulted. He's heard worse from where he comes from. He's more concerned about who this tiny goblin is and why we don't like him. So he's going to remain silent unless something is said about him again and he feels the need to defend himself, because he wants to try and big brain assess the situation as best as he can. And right now it seems like Finch isn't interested in talking to him specifically.
Since you've chosen to use your big brain, I'm going to have you make an intelligence check for me, please. Not a save. This would just be a check to see what you glean from this situation.
I can find intelligence on my character sheet. Easy. I don't know why I'm struggling here.
Beautiful. You catch on very quickly that this southern goblin, who you've never met one quite like him before, you realize by the way that he's dressed, by the way that he's acting, that the insults are less directed at you, but they're part of his past, part of his background, just part of his mannerisms of speaking. And really, oftentimes if you want to communicate with people, it's not that you want to be anyway mockingly, but it's finding the right words of their culture. Now, you're not familiar with his culture. You can tell that by the way of speaking. So you know to probably be cautious about making any cultural references that he might not understand. You don't know the goblin culture and you don't know the accent, but you realize what he's doing is just purveying not a personal desire, but probably a cultural desire.
Okay.
Huxley's using that big brain today.
Then that big brain time, then Huxley's just going to double down on his decision to kind of stay in the background of this conversation and let his friend do most of the talking unless he needs help.
Speaking of friends doing the talking, Klaak, how are you going to respond to this invitation?
I have enough work for months. I just need to get the people that the lore keeper here has designated for my task force.
Lore keeper? What's that?
That he can read.
You point at the giant back of bows, and Finch turns around and looks up at it and is like, "That reads? It's stone."
Can read. Yeah, he's pretty handy with mushrooms too.
He lets go of your arm, reaches around, and Bows, through your magic, you can feel this tiny hand grabbing at your vines on the back of your leg. As he starts to squeeze them, seeing about what you are and just how tough you are, he goes, the two individuals in front of you, while you're feeling this hand kind of on your back leg, the two individuals are clearly trying to get around you. They're shoving the chair and the table out of the way so that they can have a clear path to their boss who's feeling up your leg.
B.O.S.E is just gonna kind of, articulate himself down and like just so that way he could see the court's eyes, and it's just like a slight, like, what?
For all of you, the vines start to rotate around the rocks, literally bringing him lower, moving the whole rocks, almost like he was a shambling mound as he readjusts his proportions. And the small goblin who was actually feeling up your vines at the back almost gets his fingers caught, and he reaches back, bumping towards Huxley and whatnot, as B.O.S.E starts to take up more floor space so that he can be eye to eye now with the others. It's not a huge shift, but it's enough that everybody takes notice. You're now face to face with the darker colored elf.
For what reason do you need to lay a hand on me, little one?
Oh, I'm sorry. You were going face to face. You were articulating around to go face to face with the goblin. Oh, that's even more.
Yes.
I apologize. I
the
thought
one
you
who
meant
was touching me.
There you go. So this twisting happens, and he literally becomes a mound, pushing out on the floor space, pushing the table away, and actually taking up more of the floor space where even the two elves are pushed back a little bit to give him some room. Now, most of B.O.S.'s space goes to the open area near him. But now you're looking, I guess, face to face with Finch as much as he is, and he's just staring at you. And quick as a wink, a hand latches out towards your eye, trying to grab one of the gems.
Oh.
I would like, in fact,
Bold.
he's got priorities, shall we say? Are you gonna try and dodge this hand coming at you?
Oh yeah, like there's no way he's touching me again.
Okay, you went face to face with him, and now this hand swoops up in between you, so go ahead and make a, it wouldn't be acrobatics, you're not using your whole thing, just use your straight dexterity check.
Dex, alright.
Yeah, 'cause you...
Let's see. 9?
Oh yeah, no, he way outrolls that. You're like, you start to move back like this, as this sudden little goblin clawed hand is on your eyeball, hanging onto it, and it seems to be like almost trying to pull it out and whatnot. But they're really in there. They're part of you. They're like, while they look like they stick out, they're really affixed.
Wonderful. So, these are his, like, B.O.S.'s eyes. So, B.O.S.E is gonna, like, kind of freak out a little bit, and he's gonna, like, get up and, like, start, like, get it off of me, get it off.
B.O.S.E starts to become full size once again. The vines all lashing and wrapping around, and literally Finch is lifted off the ground in front of you, Klaak, as this other small goblin is being lifted into the air by your friend B.O.S.E and whatnot. Huxley, do you do anything as a response?
Huxley is hearing a plea for help, get it off, but I don't know if Huxley can easily get over to B.O.S.E from his position.
Literally, it's right in front of you where you're at, and I'll show the map just for anybody that needs to see it.
What the tiny goblins between us?
The tiny goblin is what is hanging on to B.O.S.E and is being lifted into the air.
I thought it was one of his henchmen, one of the elves.
Nope.
Okay. In that case, Huxley is going to grab onto his waist and where is it? I know that I have. Oh my goodness, my computer's being problematic. I am so sorry. He has the Tavern Brawler feat though, so he should be able to grapple him.
It's an easy check with your skills that I have in front of me right now. And you can grab onto him easily because he's not trying to dodge you in any way. He was just hanging on to this. So you've laid hold and grappled him. Basically, he's hanging on to the gem. But as you grab him around the waist, he lets go of the gem and you're stuck holding this goblin in the air as B.O.S.E once again takes on his full size. And the B.O.S.E, you can hear to your right and somewhat behind you because you've spun around. The elvish voice demanding Huxley drop his boss. And you also hear, you can all hear and kind of see, there's a weapon being drawn. Remy, from the back room, you can see this all transpiring. You have now mixed with some of the other individuals that are back there. I don't know, did you want to take a seat at a table, or were you just kind of standing back there in the shadows?
Remy was probably trying to take a seat at the table, but seeing that just happen, he's panicking. So here's my question for you, Sean. How many plot points will it take for Remy to sort of see that transpire, and as like Huxley grabs Finch, for him to just freak out and he stands up and starts taking a couple steps forward, and Finch like makes eye contact with him?
1 plot point.
1 plot point. All right, so that happens, and he like takes a step forward. They lock eyes, and then Remy like turns back, and then it's like, and then we hears the blade draw, and he starts walking forward again, and he's about to say something. I think is say, hold up, as it's being drawn.
You're coming forward, and Finch is like, I know you.
Get. Hello, Mr. Finch. Good to see you. Taking a couple steps forward, putting his hands up for the guards that are like very on edge. Huxley, I think it'd be good to put him down. Yes, that'd be a good idea. Yes.
I think what he did was very rude. You don't just grab people's eyes. That's very rude. If Huxley can, he'd like to turn Finch around in his hands, that way he's facing him like face to face.
Are
you
we
also don't
hugging
see a
again?
B.O.S.E every day. Oh god.
I'm sorry, what was that, Klaak?
Are we hugging again?
That's beautiful.
There will
That
be
should
no
be the
hugging
phrase of
for
the
this
night.
one.
Are we hugging again? You spin around, he goes, hey, put me down.
I think you owe B.O.S.E an apology. You don't just grab people's eyes.
He's like, all of you with that trash back there?
It is very rude to grab somebody's eye. Would you like it if like somebody reached up and just plucked your eye out?
One of the elves who was facing Remy turns around hearing you say that, and even though B.O.S.E is still mostly in the way and the table's in the way, clearly he hears this is a threat about pulling his boss's eye out. I'm going to leave you all right in the middle of this climactic tension as we cut over to Nerida in the back. Nerida, he's just closed the door, and he looks at you and he says, or he's already asked where you trained, and you dodged the question, right? Yep. So he says, he goes, fine, keep your secrets. He goes, what are you doing here now? He goes, if you're looking to hire with the boss, he goes, the guy's already left.
Oh, I know. No, I was simply curious. I thought the room was unoccupied, and I thought my friends and I could use it to speak, but if you are renting it, then I do not want to impose.
He scoops the rest of what appears to be some coins of gold and whatnot into a pouch and puts it at his side. He goes, nah, you can have the room. Whatever, I don't care. He goes, we're all done here.
Very well.
He goes to move towards the door and leaves, and he says, Nice hair.
Thank you. It waves a little.
Ooh, very nice subtle effect. I love it. As a water Genasi, her hair flows like the water when she's in the spirit form, and it always tends to have this deep blue of the ocean. He passes by you, heads out the door, and comes into the main room where he sees this kerfuffle just starting to happen. Nerida, with the door open, you can now see that...
Yeah, I'm following him out.
Yep.
Just to look.
You know, you can see basically this whole thing happening. Remy's back out from the shadows. Blades have been drawn. B.O.S.E is up in the air. Huxley's holding up this goblin. And there, just beyond the stools, you can see the top pointed ears of Klaak the goblin looking at all this.
I just imagine there's this point where, like, he steps out, I step out. There's a pause as we both see what's in front of us. I like to imagine that we both just kind of, like, glance at each other awkwardly for a second, look back at the scene, and just kind of shrug.
The one that you were following, the shrugs, actually moves towards a back door over here, which you know to be the kitchens only because Tame earlier had gone in and out of it. Zara is still sitting behind the counters, and Zara actually says, I don't want no trouble in here. I don't think anybody's really listening to him at this point. Finch, being held up, who you now know his name only because Remy has said it. I've referred to him as Finch, but nobody had used his name to this point. Remy's referred to him as Mr. Finch. Looks down at Huxley and says, he goes, you know, I don't think I'd like somebody pulling out my eyeball at all, but damn, they'd come with some interest. He goes, you up to trying it? What are you willing to pay? I'll tell you what, I'll let you try to pull my eyeball out.
I think you really need a nap.
He said, I think you really need to put me down.
Huxley's gonna pull him close and start trying to bounce him like a baby.
Oh, this is bad. You know, DMs have plans
Huxley,
for
you really
games.
should let him go. Please let him go.
You start bouncing him like a baby. Klaak, you're doing nothing with this? Klaak's just enjoying the show?
This is what we do. We hug people and we coddle them.
I'm trying to figure out, Huxley. I don't know why you hug these. Does this goblin have a bad father too? I don't.
No, he's just grumpy.
Oh.
I'd be grumpy too if I was being picked up by someone. What are you doing?
I'm trying to make him see the error of his ways.
He's a goblin, not a child.
Maybe
I
he'd be
know.
able to see
Around like
better
a
if he
baby
was on the
isn't going
ground.
to help.
Well, you see, I think he needs to realize that you can't just treat people however you want. You know, you can't just grab on people. And until he says he's sorry to B.O.S.E, I'm going to continue to give him the treatment that he gave B.O.S.E.
I am confused, darling. Are you not grabbing on him?
Yes, I am giving him the same treatment until he apologizes to B.O.S.E.
But if he's already been given the same treatment, then is that not recompense enough?
He needs to apologize.
Huxley, please relinquish the trash child. It is okay.
Rubs his eye.
Oh no.
Remy, you're hearing all this. You're watching the guards. At this point, you know, I'm not sure I can avoid initiative any longer. I've been trying, but
Yeah.
I'm really thinking you guys got to roll for initiative. It's like I've been trying to find a way to talk out of this, but now we're literally bouncing the boss and hugging him close, and he's a trash child. And the two guards have been trying to get by, so yeah, just rolling.
We're still technically level 1, right? Because no long rest.
No, I made you guys level 2. Yeah, we're fine. You're level 2.
Oh.
Okay. No rest needed. Sweet.
Yeah, so for the chat, they did earn level 2 because they made their way beyond. We use Milestone, and in Milestone, you do not have to be a murderer hobo. You do not have to kill everything to gain XP. You have to overcome the situation. That's what Milestone's all about. They overcame the situations of with the guards, with the cowkeeper, with the tavern. They had successfully even done some amazing things with the Waywatch, or the Wayward, pardon me. And so yeah, they earned level 2.
Hey, it actually put you in the initiative order that time.
It didn't. I cheated.
Oh.
I I manually put my initiative in with Roll20. So that I'm rolling it in Roll20, not D&D Beyond.
Interesting. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see all those in there. And we are just going to, what was it? Control you, these guys?
Yep.
Control you? No, that
Go.
didn't work.
Yeah, it put one of the dudes at the
Did
bottom.
it?
I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
you can do it in mass.
Thank you. Thank you. And let me roll
You
some
just
dice for
quickly-
him really quick. And that is a 14. Because they don't have a character sheet set up with them, so. For our audience, so that they know why we're doing that. Oh, boom. Somebody else had done it for me. Oh, that was interesting. Nice. I like it. All right, so initiative order. Nerida, what are you doing?
That's a good question. I am going to, I'm just going to say, Huxley, maybe just, darling, just drop him. Just drop it. It's fine, I'm sure. That's all.
Up to you,
I'm
Huxley.
sorry, I just realized I muted myself.
No, you didn't.
I'm
We
sorry.
heard you.
No, we heard you. We
Yeah.
heard you.
Oh,
We're just
okay.
waiting on Huxley to respond.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh.
I thought we were waiting. Sorry.
You're right. We are in initiative order, but usually I allow a verbal response, a quick.
That's right, I switched to my webcam mic. That's right.
Yeah, no, with Bo's ass saying that he's okay, Huxley will be putting him down.
So as Nerida asks, you're actually responding to Bose, but Nerida might think that it was, her suggestion, to lead. And slowly Finch is lowered to the thing. The I said he's a half elf, but actually he's not. He's an elf. The one elf has already clambered on top of the table at this point, and he reaches down for Finch to try and help him up onto the table. But before he can finish doing that, Remy, you have a turn. And your arm.
Remy is.
Make the attack.
Yeah, he is.
Do it.
Yeah, totally. That's the game plan. Remy's gonna walk on
have
over
clothes?
here.
That's armor.
Yeah, totally. He's gonna walk over here and just say, "Yes, Huxley, let's put him down." Mr. Finch, I'm sorry for this person's behavior. They're from the south. They don't, underlings. No manners these days.
You say all this, helping to massage the situation. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll for me. Let's see if he's willing to listen to you. The person that he's
gosh.
referred to as trash.
Yeah, 19.
Wow.
Chat, don't make.
You know what? I'm going to get my special dice for that.
Oh man.
This is the one that rolled a 1. Come on, last session. Let's find out. And we didn't do a whole lot better. You got a 5. Oh, you can't see it. It's a 5. Well, it was a 5. Whatever. I'm going to have to turn my light back on over the monitor when I do that. Whoop, there you go. Alright, so yeah, you outroll his butt. He looks at you and he says, "So, trash, where's your sister?" The elf has helped him up on the table, so now the goblin is actually up quite high. He can almost, actually he would be, let's see, goblin height, table height, about 30. Yeah, so he's about 6 feet high. There's room around both of you. Bose, the other goblin at the back, is still, or not goblin, I apologize. Elf at the back is still armed. Huxley, you have relinquished him. He's on the table. Remy's there. Finch looks over and says, "So, Trash, what's the deal? I'm switching to the wayward one. Why are you with, he wants to know why you're with these other individuals."
Meet and greet, social thing. This one, he points to Nerida, if he can. The one with the blue hair, she was buying drinks. Real festive occasion.
Looks around, sees Nerida, pauses for a moment, and says, "That's not your sister. She ain't got the horns."
Very observant of you.
And his guards aren't going to get an action because there's no combat and whatnot. They're just waiting on the boss's orders. B.O.S., what do you got?
Sorry, just as a side note, after that last comment, Remy's hand is reaching like underneath, like where it's like wedged behind him in his like belt, like iron grip behind his back on the knife.
Okay. You are ready. Should anything go down, we will... What would trigger that reaction? That readied action?
Gosh. If Finch mentions Remy's sister again, he's going to throw the knife at his face.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody's like, why?
I'm just excited.
I'm not questioning that.
So, B.O.S, what are you doing?
Oh, right. B.O.S is gonna be staring at the elf that has the weapon, and just he'd like to ready an action just in case.
What action are you readying? You have to define what the trigger is and what your action is. In other words, like he said, I will attack his face if this is the trigger event happens.
Mm-hmm. Wild shape.
You will wild shape. What will trigger that?
If anybody strikes at me or my friends, technically.
So if you are attacked, you will initiate wild shape. Okay.
Yes.
So that's a proper readied action. And Klaak, what are you up to?
So we're not hugging then. Okay, and I'll grab the sword up and put it up on my shoulders. And that's it. Just hold right there.
Sword up upon the top of your shoulders. Once again, leaning out to both sides, because this sword for our viewers is about 5 to 6 feet long. Goblin's only like 3 feet, so literally it's like part of it's hanging over the seats that are next to him. Part of it's kind of in between B.O.S and Huxley and whatnot. This huge broadsword. Not even a broadsword, it's a great sword, so I don't want to underestimate the size of this thing. It's massive. And he just appears somewhat relaxed and ready, all muscles rippling and whatnot. Huxley, what are you doing?
Huxley, who has just put down the person, is now checking on B.O.S and asking, so you're sure that you're okay?
Yes, Huxley, this entity is fine.
Are you injured at all?
No, just a little sore, that's it. It's okay.
That's all Huxley wants to know.
Okay.
So pure.
So, Nerida, how about you? You're seeing this unfold. You've seen the little guy be put down at your request. You have no idea about Remy. You can't see that at all because he's on the other side of a group from you.
All right. Seeing that... Okay. Seeing what I don't see. Not seeing what I don't see, rather. I'm going to... I could do something really dumb, or I could just talk. I could technically do both. I am going to come over here, and I am preparing to hop on the table, but I'm not going to actually hop on the table yet. But I'm going to say, okay, you are put down. Everything is fine, and it seems all is fine. The air doesn't smell fine. Are you about to start a brawl? I look over at the goblin. At both of them. Because one has his sword like this, and the other one is taunting. It sounds like taunting, or I don't know that it's taunting, but it's asking about somebody's sister. And where I come from, you don't really ask about people's family. So she thinks somebody's about to start a fight, and she's getting ready to go on the table and join this fight.
And none of you have to worry about the initiative order for the moment. It's there if we actually break back into combat, but the tension's not there, so you may just roleplay and respond.
Okay.
I think we'll go back to having our drinks now, Mr. Finch. That's
Finch-
all the same to you?
Finch hops down off the table and walks towards Remy, and he goes, "You were having drinks and you're not going to invite me? That's kind of rude. After all I've done for you, saved your family, helped you out." He's like,
Of course, it just seemed as though you were on your way, with the... And he lowers his voice slightly. With the transactional discussion that was going on in the back room and the gods being here recently.
I don't... He looks around and goes, "Those guards seem to have left." He goes, "You think I'm a fool? There's a reason I came out here. Clearly, I know a little something you don't." He goes, "Such as the balance of what you owe me. Let's sit down and have that drink now. Boys?" And he looks over, and actually, he doesn't even look over. He just says, "Boys," and the two elves come over towards, start moving in closer.
Now, Mr. Finch, you and I both know that the recent time has not exactly been in my favor, but I've always been good for it. And it's now same as ever. I'm just currently indisposed. I'm here working, if you really must know. And I will, of course, pay what I owe, like I always have.
Finch,
Just a
never
bit
one to
late.
miss an opportunity, has a seat at the table nearby, and then says, "Sit down. Wouldn't be proper if we didn't have a drink together. And after all your friends are here. Isn't that right, boys?" They haven't put away their swords or anything yet. Clearly waiting to see what their boss tells them to do. Very much similar to Remy himself.
Yeah.
Anybody here can pretty much see they're ready for combat. Oh, they are not relaxed at all. As relaxed
Remy
as Finch
looks
sounds,
over at Czar.
they're the other end of the extreme. In fact, Klaak looks more relaxed probably than anybody here, interestingly.
I just saunter over to the table. I lean in, like I'm listening curiously.
Remy's gonna look over at Czar after he is told to sit down with Finch. What's he doing?
Czar is literally, Czar has a patch over one eye, and Czar's looking out, and I'm not sure how good you are at reading people. Make me an insight roll, please.
Not great. 6.
Hey, that passes a normal check and whatnot. So Czar seems unconcerned with what's going on, almost like he's purposely trying to avoid it. He's facing forward and everything, but he's kind of looking down at the counter, like not making eye contact, not challenging anybody.
Remy will stand sort of rigid next to the seat without sitting down. Are you sure? This is. What about that back room? That was good for discussing business. Maybe there instead.
Says, "Well," he goes, "I suppose we can do that." He goes, gets up. He goes, "What are you going to order us to drink?" He goes, then he looks at you a little more closely and says, he goes, "I don't suppose you've got the coin that you owe me, never mind for a drink. That's okay. We'll call this one on me." Looks over towards Czar and he goes, "We'll keep that room in the back." He goes, "Why don't you bring back," and he looks around at you all, points over towards Boz. He goes, "Yeah, not thinking you're drinking." He goes, "Bring back a couple bottles." Slowly but surely, he takes you all into the back room which is now more crowded, but there's a table back there. The room is empty, chairs, looks just like what Nerida saw a few minutes ago and what Remy saw the other day when he opened the door. But it's a closed, confined space. His guards will actually be the last ones going in.
Can I say that as they said, let's go to the back room, I kind of started sauntering there to like open the door and lead the way in. And I want to just take a peek around the room and just, it's more of like I'm just kind of walking around and just kind of kicking the underside of the table while anybody is filing in and seeing if there's anything I should be in the know of, if I can investigate this quickly.
Sure, you can make a, investigations about putting it together, so yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. All right. 23.
23, beautiful. You actually notice, just at a quick glance, because you're wondering about whether this is a setup for a trap or whatnot, you see that underneath the table on the far side are some strange loops. Well, it'd be strange to anybody else unless you were a person who planned for nefarious things, and you would know that if somebody was already in here, they'd be able to slide a dagger or something into these loops and easily have it within grasping range. And then you notice that the loops are also adjustable size so that you could actually have a crossbow, a hand crossbow, put into it and be able to shoot somebody sitting on the other side of the table from underneath. There's nothing in it right now.
Okay.
As you all walk by, the same sleeping body is still on the couch, which I guess the rest of you don't seem concerned with. I'll let you put your characters into the room where you would like, and then I'll move in the last ones. That way our chat can see where you guys choose to put yourselves. Okay.
As Remy's walking over there, he's gonna look at everyone in our, very newly formed band to try and figure out, y'all's reaction to all of this. What kind of read am I getting from y'all? That's B.O.S.E, who doesn't have facial expressions.
Nerida looks very confused and a little bit amused at the situation.
Slayer looks defensive.
Okay. Klaak, you just
If there's
chilling?
blood, there'll be blood.
Ooh.
So I'm the most upset one in the room, I guess, next to B.O.S.E, who I don't think could be less tense.
Nope, not at all.
Which might come down to the fact that none of these individuals have any idea who this is yet, why you responded as you did, or anything else. And I don't know if our chat's been dealing with an echo. I just realized for the first time that I forgot to put in my earbud before the service, so I've been playing with speakers, which my microphone picks up a lot. So if you guys were hearing an echo, that was on my end. Sure, it'll be there on the recording. All right, so Zara brings in the alcohol a few moments later, and now you're just into a nice, simple little chat with a super friendly Goblin who you've just met and made friends with, and it's just going to be such a nice time that you can all spend together now. Won't that be sweet?
Spicy would like to give me inspiration.
Spicy inspiration is now given.
Thank you, Spicy. Alright, so Goblin.
Finch sits down across from you, and Finch looks over directly at Remy. So nice now that he's got his drink and everything else. And Finch looks and says, "So, we were just having a nice chat. You were just going to tell me all about your family and what's going on and how you're planning on paying your debts to me. I'm assuming that's why you have all these individuals here, right? You got yourself a nice job. By the way, how come I never got my cut of your last job? You've been dodging out on me now all this time?"
There was an issue in transit, something, the transaction was overcome by unforeseen circumstances.
Well, now, I'm real glad to hear that you didn't just try to, play one on old Finchy, because, I did know about that, and I should have known before you even took that journey. When you just decided to cut out like that, me and my boys were wondering where you got to yourself to, because, you just keep earning interest on that debt here, and that's getting quite big now, and you were supposed to have that paid off some time ago, so, we're just going to have to roll that on top, and, I got some jobs coming up here. These boys and these girls around here, they all working for you now? You got yourself your own little crew? Oh, that's a good thing. Just because I think you're going to need it for these jobs coming up.
Don't be mistaken. I don't work for anybody. I'm just here because it's curious and because you offered a lady a drink. Out of curiosity be passing, however, how much does this one owe? Come on.
Remy winces at that question.
The goblin's just looking at Remy to see if he's going to admit it or not.
Rate was 20%. Yes, the interest.
Well, that is for a friend. That's called a good friendly rate when you're paying on time. But, you've been gone now for, almost 2 years.
Remy just
Because that's
looks
not a
at his
very
drink.
friendly thing to do now, is it? Cutting out on old Finchy.
Mr. Finch, I wasn't trying to cut out. I was merely trying to give you what was due, more expediently.
Expediently, 2 years with no word. You go and use some of good old Finchy's contacts to find a connection to sell some of the things that Finchy does buy for you. Don't you appreciate all I do for you? Helping you to find these things? And then you go and make deals on
Mr.
your own.
Finch. I was merely trying to save you the trouble, of course. The money was going to you at the end of the day. I was foolish to think I could do it without you.
You're right. I'll tell you what. I'll take this here Lorry Meister. He goes and I think that would just about bring you back up to speed. We could probably overlook the last year and a half for this one here. He goes, and you don't even have to go out and make a new one. He goes, I'll bet that'd feel real good now, wouldn't it? Just to be able to catch yourself up that way. He goes, you got yourself some pretty woman over here on the side. He goes, got yourself that handsome, young, strong humanoid working for you over there, one of these underlings. He goes, and you got that there. I see you got some good, strong muscle over there in the corner. He goes, and you can't go wrong if you got a goblin on your side. He goes, and you got two. You got that man over there with a blade, and you got good old Finchy on your side. I think that'll just about not square us, but it'll catch you up. He's pushed each one of your drinks by now, by the way. They're all there for anybody that wants to drink. Nerida, are you having your drink? I'm sorry, I really have to find out about her drinking.
Yeah.
Nerida is kind of nursing the drink, looking like she's sipping it from it, but she's learned her lesson for the night. She hasn't learned a real lesson, but...
Yeah, just for the moment, right.
Just for the moment.
This is a normal drink. This is, he has not requested the strongest stuff or the finest thing in the house. So this is just a regular drink. And you're nursing it well.
And she's just casually nursing it, so yeah.
Remy will sort of put on the most forced smile he's ever worn in his life, which is always the one that comes out whenever he talks to Finch. And he says, wow, that's an incredibly generous offer, Mr. Finch. I'm afraid the construct B.O.S.E not exactly mine to give.
Well,
so,
now. So you're walking around with somebody else's property. Now, who you be delivering that to?
He's no one's property, Mr. Finch. And I know that's strange, unexpected to even me. But B.O.S.E is... Well, and he sort of gestures to let B.O.S.E talk to himself.
B.O.S.E. Yes, this entity belongs to itself and to no one else, especially the likes of you.
Oh, now
This is-
you're cutting
that
right to
last bit.
Finchie's. You're cutting right to Finchie's heart there, big Rocky boy. What do you call you? What do you like to be called? Rocky, Boulder, Stretch, Shambler. I like that term. That's a good term for you. He goes, we call you Shambles. How's that? He goes, Shambles now. He goes, if you don't got nobody that owns you, he goes, just imagine somebody taking care of you, putting you to the right work, using you for all you're built to do.
And what do you think that is?
Well, we could find that out together. You, me, and my boys. It'd be good. He goes, just ask old Remy here. He goes, Remy here never had so much skill used in all his life till he made friends with good old Finchie. Isn't that right, Remy?
Speaking of using skill, Remy's very much so dodging the question. Speaking of using skill, Mr. Finch, you mentioned a job? Several jobs, actually. It seems like something on your mind, something that we could walk away from, start working on paying the balance. Something you had in mind?
It is now a little different than what you and my boys were doing before. He goes, I don't really need so much of the transport as a retrieval this time. He goes, but you said these individuals don't work for you, and I'm not just out here to, put information out there for complete strangers. So if you ain't got a crew, you ain't got loyalty, really nice. And he looks around and he goes, meet all you ladies and fine goblin folk and you big old shambling folk. He goes, but he goes, I think this is probably a conversation for an individual in private. And the reality is, Remy, if you ain't got a crew, you couldn't handle this job anyway. So
As he's talking, and as Remy's kind of like stuttering an answer, I'm going to flash a thieves' can't sign, just something that says pay attention to me,
okay.
and see if he notices. See if the goblin leader notices.
That's a real tough one because you're trying to be subtle, of course, casting the sign, but you're also trying to catch his attention.
I'm not being subtle about it.
Oh, you're doing it just direct. Okay. No need for a
Yeah.
performance check then. That would be on his end. Okay.
Just a quick hand sign.
Okay. And no immediate response. It's not like he stops what he's
Remy's
doing.
oblivious to that. He doesn't know any of that stuff. He's Remy says, well, these are friends of mine, and
I work for him.
he works for me. See,
Huxley has not changed from his defensive stance. He looks, you would say, defensive of Remy right now.
And sitting right next to him in the room, that would make a really good scene because you've got two strong individuals. Over there, you got big old Klaak in the corner. You got Huxley sitting right next to Remy. And Nerida kind of tucked off in the side. Now, B.O.S.E, of course, is in a great position to standing near the goblin
and
to strike at him. But, of course, the goblin was looking more like, hey, look, I'm going to own this property.
And if Remy can chime in, he'll say, and I wasn't exaggerating when I said B.O.S.E is a colleague. And honestly, who's going to believe something that a random construct tells them? Yes.
Well, now, he goes, I don't know about all that. He goes, you could program whatever in there. He goes, you got one of them magic mouths? Yeah, I'm guessing so. I don't see no mouth at all, just kind of a stone. He goes, yeah. He goes, but wasn't that one of those things that you were looking at doing, was making some of them toys that talk or something like that? I don't remember now. Maybe that was your sister that said something about that. He goes, now she had a mouth on her, I'll tell you, man. That woman, she just
That
always
was a project of mine, Mr. Finch. But not anymore. Now the job. We can handle it.
He goes, well, I ain't heard nothing yet from all of you, and now he purposely looks around. And I need you to make a perception roll, Nerida.
Yeah. Because I've been paying attention to where I saw that little loop that you mentioned as well. But my perception's not great, so we'll see.
It would actually
14.
be... Okay. You, and again, you can never roll lower than your passive perception for any of our viewers. It's a check to go higher and whatnot. You notice immediately while he's going around looking from person to person to see if they're part of the, willing to be part of his group, when he looks at you, his hand just happens to brush something off in an affirmation symbol. So you caught it instant. Anybody else would not have the faintest idea what he did, but he just gave you an affirmation of your earlier sign. Now, the loops are actually not where he's sitting. They're actually on the other side where Rembrandt and Huxley are, prepared to shoot.
Okay.
Yep. So they would be the ones to load this or use this if they wanted to put weapons there. So he has put himself in a vulnerable position, not in a position of I want to kill somebody or I'm on. Basically communicating that he feels very at home and at ease with what's happening.
He is in his favorite terrain. Got it.
You got it.
All
in the
right.
negotiation chamber.
Yeah.
He goes, so you're all saying, he goes, like, Huxley willing to work, you over here, Shambler, you're going to work for him? He goes, so you guys are all going to work for Remy?
Yes, this entity believes that this entity kind of owes him to an extent.
Couldn't think of a better leader myself.
Well, now, Owen, that's a real interesting phrase. Because, I seem to recall before he done dispersed himself, he had an opportunity for a good career. And as I think about it, he had to go find a little something, a big old Golemy Shambler type thing in the swamp. You from the swamps?
That is none of your concern.
He goes, because I seem to remember that sort of ending badly, Remy, for the people that was with you last time. How many came back from that trip? Oh, let me think. I know it wasn't a very big number. Oh, that's right. It was just you, wasn't it, Remy? You came all the way back, and everybody that was with you was dead. And you didn't even have what you've been sent for, didn't you?
Not everyone. And he looks at Huxley. Some merely went, indisposed, as it were.
How you get their loyalty when the last group you go out with all be dead? I'm concerned because, even old Finchy can't inspire loyalty
Finch?
like this.
I'm not saying I'm you, of course, but there have been some men that haven't come back.
He goes, when I hire folk, I expect them to go out and do a job. If they don't come back, well, they ain't much use to me anyway. Now would they be? You got to complete the job. He goes, you came back north and you had nothing. I'm sorry about that there, Carrot Top. What was that you say?
Do you have a point?
I got
Because
lots
you're
of them.
talking a whole lot,
He starts
but
pointing
you're
all his
not
teeth.
saying much.
He goes, I got to make sure that, the people that work for me are actually working for me.
I don't work for you. I work for him.
He goes, so then maybe you need to take your cue from him there, Curdy one. He goes, because you know what? He's trying to do some negotiation, and he and old Finchy are talking right now. He goes, you might just want to hold that little hooter that you got there.
You still up for that offer?
Are you talking to Finchy?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what offer that was.
Me versus you. 1-on-1.
Rip out the eye.
Oh. There you go.
Can Bose have it?
Does Bo say that?
Listen, out of character, if Huxley somehow manages to get away with this, which I don't think he is, you can have it.
Nice.
Did Bo say that
Huxley's
out
about
loud?
to get his ass handed to him, but
If this is literally everybody in character talking out loud, then yes, Bose said it.
Okay. Well, she didn't say the second part. She said the second part was out of character, but she did ask the question about snatching the eyeball, taking him up on the offer. So yeah, if you're gonna say, can Bose has it, Finchy looks up at you like, what? Somewhat confused for a second. He goes, oh hell, is you talking about that whole eyeball thing? He goes, he goes,
You
that
got
was
on
when
your
you was
word?
holding me. He goes, why don't you just hang on there, Flamey 01? He goes, let me finish my conversation,
so
my
you're
dealings with
not
Remy.
good for your word.
I'm gonna sit on the edge of the table and say,
Make
job,
an intimidation
Mr.
roll.
Finch.
Who?
You challenging him. Yeah, even Remy's
No,
like
I'm gonna use my inspiration for this.
Joke.
Inspiration gives you advantage, right?
It does. So you get to roll 2 dice and then show us whichever one's higher.
Pain.
Wow, that is beautiful.
All right.
Huxley showing his 15 in strength here.
There we go.
Huxley's like, you good on your word and whatnot. Finchy goes, Goblin's been making words before your type even knew what words was. He goes, every goblin keeps his word. Ain't that right? And he looks over towards Klaak.
It's right. We always keep our word.
He goes, even when you folk don't know what that word is. He goes, I tell you what. He goes, I'm going to stand right here. Climbs up on his chair, climbs up on the table. So now you're across the table from him. And we'll get a little map. That way people can kind of see it a little bit easier. And we're going to kind of shrink him down since he's a goblin size. In fact, you know what? You look
Glance
pretty
up
big
at
for
him
a
from where
goblin.
I've sat on the edge of the table and repeat, the job, Mr. Finch.
So he stands up on this and he looks over and he goes, noticing that you've moved closer, and goes, just 1 second there, little Philly. He goes, I'm going to take care of this one over here first. He goes, tell you what, you go ahead, reach across here. If you can successfully grab my eye out my head, he goes, I let you keep it. I even give him a job.
Huxley, first he's kind of going to stand up. He's going to roll back his shoulders.
Huxley, you stand up, and as you do, the other 2 individuals move to his right and his left, closer to the table, preventing Nerida from reaching out and doing anything. They kind of interpose themselves. That way, Bose can't do anything and Nerida can't do anything.
Chat's asking for
Inspiration for the eye yoink.
They really want that eye.
Yeah, you can give inspiration anytime you want, chat. So we're going to give that... Huxley, you get an inspiration again. And I'll remove that from the plotter's inspiration. Boom, 2. Okay.
And Huxley's just going to double check. Your 2 men aren't going to interrupt this fight between me and you, right?
Says, what fight? I told you if you could yank my eye. He goes, you get to keep it. And you get a job. He goes, what are you worried about anything else for? He goes, I send you on a job. I can't detail anything on a job. I need people to be able to think in advance. Be able to figure out what's going on. Can't you think far enough in advance to even figure out how to grab a goblin eye? He goes, I gotta spell everything out for you? Oh, humans. He goes, my God. How you people ever stop crawling in the mud?
All right. Let's see here. Is he within?
Roll for eye grab?
Yeah.
It'll be a straight dexterity roll. It's not acrobatics. You're not doing anything fancy.
All right.
This is a straight dexterity roll to try and snatch his eyeball out. And if you're using inspiration, you got to announce it in advance.
Yeah, I have no choice. The chat's giving me inspiration specifically for this roll.
After
They know what they want.
After we can add plot points after we see a roll, right?
You can. Before I announce the outcome.
Yeah. So just hold on before announcing, because I'm about to dump a golden crit probably.
Yes.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
And
So,
I'm gonna
15
go
plot
ahead
points.
and dump. Oh, sorry, you first.
I'm dumping 15 plot points onto that.
Woo!
So you're making that a 34.
And I'll add one more just to make it a 35.
They roll a 35 for our chat viewers. How plot points work is it allows players to influence the plot, sometimes changing a story, such as when Remy earlier asked for the Finch to react in a certain way. But you can also influence your own story very directly by adding to a dice roll and changing the dice outcome. It does not work for when you're leveling up your health, but it does work for ability checks as well as attack checks and damage rolls. So you can bump things up. In this case, they've chosen to bump it right up to a 35 between the pair of them, and the players do their own. Inspiration was used, so I do need to turn Huxley's inspiration off. As I sadly have to describe the ultimate failure that happens here when Huxley's arm goes out and Finch smiles as that hand comes lightning in, lightning fast. His 2 guards ready to cut off the arm because he never said they wouldn't interfere. This is something this type of thing is easy before. They come swinging out. Huxley's hand comes in, and literally as they swing, Huxley's just like, whap, whap, and pulls the eyeball right out of his head. Finch's plan failing horribly because he's done this before 1,000 times. Well, 100 times maybe 55. I don't know. But it was a lot. And boy, oh boy, it never went this bad before for him. You get the hand all the way back as the first blade comes down and the second blade comes down in choppy motions into the things. And Finch screams the stretch of the nerve optic right out until it snaps back. And you're left holding this eyeball. Finch screaming at the top of his lungs, howling. I'm really curious what the other goblin responds to this before anybody else.
So I run up and I immediately chop the leg of the table off.
The leg closest to you?
Oh, damn.
As soon as I see the guards swing, I just come up. I take the table leg out.
Oh, God.
I kind of should have gotten intentions first. That's what I should have done. Because that would have affected her roll. But it still wouldn't have beat a 35.
Huxley is also going to take this moment to say, don't mess with my friends.
Bloody eyeball in head. Don't mess with my friends. I wish I had like a little eyeball here. I used to have some. It's like just to be like.
Remy's just like
B.O.S.E.
sitting there, mouth agape, like, oh my God, we're just gonna die now.
B.O.S.E. would like to ask Huxley,
May I have that now?
Literally, the table starts tipping towards him. Finch now off balance. Huxley standing there, and Finch starts tipping towards him as B.O.S.E. just calmly asks, while this is happening. In fact, the second elf who hit the table right here ends up working, again, Klaak just knocked the leg off. That extra downward motion sends Finch here in the middle flying at Huxley, who's making this comment about this is what happens, and B.O.S.E. like, give me the eyeball, and oh my God, what are you doing with this,
to grab the
Nerida?
goblin, to grab Finch by the back of the neck and yank him backwards so he doesn't fall on Huxley.
You can absolutely, should be a pretty easy check, so go right ahead and make a dexterity grab.
Okay.
Because it's not strength, it's not grapple, so just a dexterity grab. You're just reaching out to grab him before he topples.
15?
Yep, you latch onto his back and whatnot as he's toppling forward almost into his eyeball and Huxley. Remy, you're just like dumbfounded as all this is happening. The table's tipping over. Nerida's stopping him from falling forward. He's howling. The guards pull back their swords. And go ahead.
No, because Rembrandt wouldn't do that. Alex would. I was going to load the dagger.
oh man.
There is always that, what would my character do? We should make bracelets that say, what would my character do?
Listen, Huxley's just a Cinnabon who has some anger problems.
I got to roll. I'm actually not sure which of the two ways he would go.
That was like a pseudo gamble too, which I think is.
So literally, his guards start drawing their swords. He's howling. You can see that this is about to go into combat with Nerida at the top of the round. So you can either all give me intentions, or we can just jump right into it and see how it plays out. Anybody want to do intentions first?
Yeah. My intention is to pull out my water skin. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to rinse the eye socket out, and I'm going to use shape water to freeze it in place so it can coagulate and stop the blood from flowing out of his eye.
Okay. Great. So we're going right into moves. Nerida's whole plan right now is to, real quick, she grabs him, pulls him back. You guys see this happen as she grabs him and starts gushing water into his eyeball, forcing him to scream even more as you're used to one feeling in your head, and suddenly this is happening. And as she does it, you see this. Did you just say you can make ice with it too?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you see this frosty look around his head as he just starts howling all the more. You know, this frozen thing coming into his head. Remy, what are you doing as you see her start torturing?
Stopping the bleeding.
Well, they don't know that yet.
Is there anything on fire in the room? Like a torch or anything? A candle holder?
Yeah, sure. Right behind you, actually. Hanging on the wall.
Okay.
There's a lantern.
Remy's held action is if one of the guards tries to attack Nerida, he's gonna cast catapult and launch the on fire like candle at or like hopefully it's like in some sort of mantle holder or something like that, and like launch it right into their chest.
Do you have to be holding the item to catapult it?
No, you do not. You
Okay.
choose an object 1 to 5 pounds within range. Range
Perfect.
is
Perfect.
60 feet.
So that's held action on them, and we are down to the guards who abso-frickin-lutely go into full attack mode. So the one right next to you sees Nerida grabbing him, howling. She pulls her sword. That means it activates your catapult. You get to respond before the guard.
So it's a DC 13 dexterity check, and it's just like Remy sort of like does the spell casting motion with his hands, and then reaches out behind him towards the candle holder and just boom.
There is a reason why I love using this dice.
Nice.
There are times. This is why DMs should always have many, many, many dice, so that you can help your players. You know, man, this catapult rips off the wall as this guy pulls his sword back and then nails it into him, hitting him with such speed, even though it's not heavy, that it ends up forcing him backwards into the wall, smashing him against it, where he ends up falling, momentarily and kind of sliding down, taking damage from it. How much damage does he take?
15 bludgeoning damage.
He goes down like a sack of frickin' potatoes. And then the other guard, who also drew his weapon, sees what's happening. And he's going to make a grapple check on his boss. This has gone really bad. This just got really
also
so bad.
as a side note, I know you can't do non-lethal damage with spells, but since it's like throwing an object, Remy aimed for the dude's chest, not like his throat or something like that, or like his head. Just a note.
That would have been kind of hard, only because if you can mentally picture the picture in your mind, on the table is the goblin. There's this lantern up there, and you're trying to go kind of diagonally through to a chest. So I'll tell you what. I'm willing to give you that chance. Let's you know what? Let's have chat decide. Does the lantern hit the chest, or does the lantern hit the head? Chat, you guys can all chime in, and we'll look at it here in a moment. I can move forward.
Did
and
Remy
then
commit a murder?
There you go. I love the way he phrases it.
I do not have a lot of faith in chat here.
The warrior, the other warrior that makes the grapple, does grab onto it, and he's trying to rip him out of your hands, Nerida. So now it's a opposed grapple, because basically you're holding onto him doing this. Yours is at disadvantage. Don't forget, not only because you're drunk, but you're also doing something with him. So you're only holding on with one hand compared to his.
No!
And,
what am I rolling?
grapple, so it'd be strength with your modifiers.
Just a strength check, or is
Yep.
that like an athletics?
Nope, it's just a straight strength.
Just a strength check.
Because you can't use your entire body in this thing. You're one-handed and you're
13.
disadvantaged, don't forget.
Okay.
Sometimes there's blood.
9.
Okay, so he ends up just getting him away as you've just frozen this thing into his head and whatnot, and he jerks him out of your hands, and then he uses his movement, which bows. This is going to trigger an opportunity attack because he grabs him, moves for the door, uses his free action to open the door. You now have an attack with advantage if you want, Bose, because his back is to you as he tries to get his boss out of the room.
Wonderful. Bose would like to use Thorn Whip to go around his neck.
Oh no! By the way, chat says that dude totally got nailed in the head.
And there will
Thank
be
you,
blood.
Spicy and
He
Rat
goes-
Sauce.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Love you, chat. Chat gets an inspiration. I love when chat has... Chat
Knight
goes
is
to
one
the
of
line.
mine, and I don't know that we should let him vote anymore.
Oh god.
I like his style.
No, I do too. That's the problem.
And chat, you know, in
Chat
case you
is
didn't
paid
realize
to
already,
Fabulous
whenever Remy rolls, if he ever gets a crit, you have the ability right there, the Remy crit reroll, to take that away.
You have that ability too, right?
I do. Yeah, it's specifically targeted towards
okay.
me, but if chat should so feel like if I decide not to and chat really wants to chime in, that's specifically for me because I was
Oh
nervous
my
that chat
gosh.
would never use it. But
Man,
I was actually waiting when you just were going to use your crit reroll to be like, yeah, there's a reroll. I admit it. I was so going to do it.
oh yeah, no, because Huxley's unlucky too.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I can't use those on Huxley. I can only use them on you.
No, but you can make me re-roll 3 times per long rest.
You can have, each of you can have a plot point because thank you for that reminder. I had forgotten about Huxley's unlucky debuff. Yes. But sadly,
points for
neither
you to
of
be
you
able to
went
negate.
for the golden crit. You outfoxed. You were like, oh no, we're just going for a nat 35. There is no golden crit happening here. Jerks. When the players become very wise. So,
Okay.
he's down.
Strength.
Thorn Whip runs out. Doesn't he have a roll like dexter? Is it just against his D or his AC, or is that a opposed roll for Thorn Whip? I think it's just an AC check, isn't it? Thorn
I
Whip,
think
look
it
up the
is.
spell. I'm just gonna look
Yeah,
it up.
just
real
Just
quick.
roll
cast
the
it
hit.
and yeah. I think it's a roll to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all
it's
I
a
thought
roll.
it was too. But I'm working from memory. I don't have the book in front of me.
Can
so.
you cast it, Eric?
Yeah.
Oh, he can.
What is a hit, right?
Yeah. So just roll for an
Yeah,
attack.
if you just go on, yeah, I think it's even under actions on D&D Beyond.
It's a nat 20, boys.
Oh, crit! Wait, that's Primal Savagery though.
How much?
Oh,
how much
shit.
damage is that? And don't forget to double your damage because roll double dice,
That is
not
pretty
double your
savage.
damage.
Yeah.
Do you want me to re-roll it? Because I did accidentally click the primal savagery, but I do have the same like modifier.
I'm fine with it. Yeah,
Alright,
you didn't
cool.
do it on. You didn't do it
So just roll
intentionally.
damage.
Damage. Here we go.
And don't forget to roll it. The dice. You'll have to roll the dice again. Oh, that is so sad for you. But you do get one more dice.
Yeah, you
And
get
don't
another
forget,
dice.
dice explode on damage. So if you roll max, you have to manually then add in the extra roll.
There we go. All right, that's a little bit better.
Explode damage dice?
Doesn't Thorn Whip pull him 10 feet towards you?
It does. That's
Correct.
why he's using it. Yep. That's his whole. Oh, I knew as soon as he said it. I'm like, yeah. I knew exactly what he was going for. So literally, you guys see as B.O.S.E, this guy's running, and B.O.S.E barely even turns. He just extends a hand, and then you realize he didn't extend a hand. His entire arm shot out, like the fingers, wrapped around the guy's neck, and jerks him back. As he's trying to get towards this door, he's still finagling with the doorknob, pulling him back all the way to B.O.S.E, right into his grasping reach. The door swinging out of his hand, swinging open, and hitting the guy on the floor who's bleeding out. And the guy is choking. He's got his boss in arms, and of course he's got a sword still in the one as he's grabbing his boss, but he can't really use the sword while he's holding on to his boss. And he's pulled into you, B.O.S.E. Wow. Oh, that's brutal. Okay. And then we will go back to the other map so that I can see it. And after that, we have... That was not B.O.S.'s turns. That was B.O.S.'s reaction. B.O.S., what would you like to do on your turn?
Oof. Okay.
Your fingers slowly go back to normal, releasing him. You can choose to grapple him. I would give you advantage on the roll because you were already wrapped around his neck as you transferred into a grapple if you want. Or you may just
yeah.
make an attack.
I want to transfer it into a grapple.
Okay. Go ahead and make a grapple check. You have advantage on the roll because you're just switching out a Thorn Whip, and that'll pretty much be an always thing. If you have somebody Thorn Whipped, you'll always have advantage, and it'll lower the DC. Basically forcing them to roll much higher.
All right, you said advantage, correct?
Yeah. He's like, there's a bad roll.
There we go.
There you go. So you switch this out, and the guy like tries to fight you with the sword a little bit, cutting at some of your vines, but your rocks and whatnot in your hand move in, and you have him grappled. Finch is still screaming on his back. blood has gone down over his face a little bit. There's this, anybody visible, you're not sure if it's a crystal in his eye or what, but it's something white there now, kind of over his eyeball. And B.O.S., you have him grappled. That was your action. Do you want to move, or do you want to do anything else, or?
No, I'm just gonna grapple this dude for now.
So basically, his speed is now 0. He is in your grasp. He can attack. He can switch hands and do other things. But a grapple is not restrained. It imposes a 0 movement. He's stuck. All he can do on his action is try to break away from you. He could attack instead and stay with you. But if he wants to move away, he has to break it. Klaak, your turn, young goblin who has knocked over the table in front of Huxley. Seen this all play out.
I guess a goblin can lie then, and I'll go into a rage.
Nice.
And I'll reckless attack Mr. Finch.
What? Just go straight for it. There you go.
Using the diagonal table, you run up the table, this massive sword, and literally, as he swings out this 5-foot sword, it passes over Huxley's head, the tip passing right over the horns, right near to Nerida, as you swing at Finch, who is being held in place, lowering his AC to just about jack squat. And show us that roll, brother.
Oh, no. 23! Oh, gosh, no.
Roll for damage, buddy.
Oh, no.
I regret what Huxley has started.
This is not a good thing, y'all. This was the first quest, y'all.
We have plenty of work. Don't worry there, double man.
Is that a D12 or a D10?
It's 2d6.
Oh, yeah, I just had to highlight it. Sorry. Thanks, yeah. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure it hadn't been maxed or anything. I mean, again, you could use plot points to max that out or whatnot, or do what you like, That's always an option.
I'm okay. Just...
Yep, so 10 points of damage to literally this individual who can't even use his normal AC or anything else. You hack through literally the frozen head or the frozen eyeball and whatnot as you swing over Nerida's head, decapitating this poor goblin who's being held. The scream stops instantly as the head falls onto the table and rolls into Remy's lap. The frozen eyeball looking up at you, the jaw still open. And you know what? I'm even going to give Klaak an extra opportunity just because the the elf was holding him. You get a free attack of opportunity using your reaction on this. It's basically just continuing the sword stroke. I want to see if basically you hit him as well.
How could you work for such a man?
It's not a separate attack. It's just kind of a continuation. But we just want to see whether or not he... Roll for damage.
I guess that depends, because if I have disadvantage, because I'm reckless attacking, and if it's the same attack, then it wouldn't be disadvantage then, because it'd be straight roll.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just take it. Just roll for damage. We're good. Yeah.
7.
You cleave through the goblin, decapitating his head and hitting the shoulder of this other individual, pushing him back slightly, but he doesn't move forward because B.O.S. is holding him. Huxley, your turn. You've just seen the head roll into Remy's lap. You're still holding this eyeball.
Can I vomit as a
free action?
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, yeah. Remy just the head falls into his lap.
As a reaction, pull the head away before he vomits on it.
I was just about to say,
Well, no, he's like going over to the side.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I was picturing the vomit on the head too.
Oh no.
Into the eye socket.
Yeah, no, Remy goes,
Nerida,
oh dear.
You do have a reaction, so I'm going to allow you to use your reaction to try and make a acrobatic snatch against him.
Sure.
I'll set the DC in my brain.
Oh, that's low. It's only a 9.
Are you good with that number?
It's
Um.
station. Or not.
No. Yes. It's fine. 9 is fine. It's
Okay.
not that important.
So yeah, you dive across the table trying to grab this head as Remy begins to puke, just turning his head a little bit, puking partially on your arm as you
Oh,
fail
God.
to grab the head, because as he turns, the head
always the
rolls out of his
throw-up.
hap, and you end up grabbing onto Remy's kind of stomach area as the head rolls over, Remy turning to the side, the head rolling onto the floor, and Remy beginning to vomit all over your hand in his lap. And
First good meal he's had in forever.
I always with the
The
throw
other-
up, y'all.
and Huxley, what are you doing?
How do you
Not
follow
in
that up,
conversation
Huxley?
with Chad at all. Let's see. Huxley has the eye, so Huxley's just gonna calmly walk over now to B.O.S.E and give B.O.S.E the eye he wanted.
Yes.
B.O.S.E, who has the one grappled, puts out one hand and receives this eye dropped into his hand. And that's where we'll end it for this evening. Huxley
Oh my
giving the
God.
reward to
Oh my
B.O.S.E.
gosh. Oh, that was the quest giver. We killed.
He shouldn't have been such a I don't know, jerk.
Oh gosh. But
You don't
Oh,
owe
God.
money to dead men, so
that's yes. This is only going to end well for us. I am.
I'm
What a
just gonna
start.
shave water the throw up off my arm. That's all.
And once again, the DM says, I made all these plans. No plans survive the party. I don't know
They
about
don't.
you, chat. I sure as heck couldn't see any of this coming tonight. I had no clue where this was going at all. Shakespearean play, yeah, rock solid.
Yep.
Everybody dies except for the players. We just got to have some of them die off too. But it's like, wow, that was like a bullying mechanic. I get you into a nice room, we'll have a conversation. It's a den of negotiation. I even say that in advance. Oh no. We're into eyeball snatching, straight up attacking, knock-legged. Wow. God
Gave
bless
us the
you, characters.
opportunity. He's the one who was like, "Go ahead."
Yeah, this
I
true.
love that Huxley made the confirmation, like, this is just between me and you, and he was like, yeah, immediately.
Oh, he did not say yes. He did not say that. No. Go back and listen again. That is not what he said.
He definitely didn't.
Nope. That was his whole plan for the whole time. He's like, dude, you got to know what you're getting into in advance. That was the whole thing. And
All I'm saying is that if Finch didn't touch B.O.S.E's eye, none of this would happen.
so everybody should take away from this: don't touch B.O.S.E in a way he doesn't want to be touched, because people will die and there will be blood. Wow. All right, so very quick.
Remy is not
milkshake.
free. Remy is definitely not free.
Oh my. No means no.
No.
And we're getting into the whole sexual thing now. It was wow.
Sensual.
Yes, consent
Sensual
is a thing.
touching only.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
consent.
Consent is important.
Finch's eyeball grab was consensual.
Goblins
he
aren't great about
invited it.
consent. I mean,
They gonna learn today.
Oh,
I'm
God.
not sure there's going to be much consent in this group, which he never even got a chance to ask you guys what you're called. I don't know, the eyeball snatchers, the eyeball gang, the eye gang.
We
only
don't
if we
even
get
know yet.
caught.
We're not even like a group technically yet. We just kind of made ourselves into one by witnessing this horror.
Also, now we've made him incredibly like Finch's dead body incredibly sympathetic to Czar, who also only has one eye.
Yes.
I have a plan. I've got a plan.
I just want to point out
Not
as
a
we
good one.
prepare to go
But I got a
forward
plan.
into session 4 next week, that this was just the meeting place. That's all this was. This was never designed to be 4 sessions in, as we are like taking out minor bosses from people's background. I mean, literally, wow, Remy, you recognize the voice. Okay, this is part of Remy's background. Let's kill it.
My eye.
Yeah, like this, like
For the rest of you,
Oh my gosh.
don't bring your backgrounds into the game, because you know what? Your fellow players are going to destroy it for you.
we're never leaving the tavern. It's all coming to the tavern.
yeah.
The whole campaign is in the
we
tavern.
don't go.
Plot
we don't
rolls
go to
into the tavern, and evil wind fouls through the air.
We
And
don't go to
Zar's
the
just
adventure.
sitting
The
there like,
adventure
man, I've
comes to
never had
us.
so much traffic flow into my business.
Final
Zar's
battle
just
does not
giving
end
us
in
some of
this
the
tavern.
profit because we're bringing all this in. We just
Boy,
get
can you
rich
find
off
us
of
an
the
eye
adventure
vendor?
coming to us.
We have an
my
eye for
gosh.
sale. Eye for sale.
No.
Aye.
I'm
Rose
so
wants to
excited what to
keep
do
that,
with
I
this
think.
eye.
And, it is worth pointing out that it was the cleric that snatched the eyeball, and it was the rogue that tried to heal the eye. If you have any ideas, Chad, about where this game is going, just ball them up, throw them in the trash, because I got no
Everybody
idea.
knows ice in a tight space. Heal it.
Expands.
I'm just
It's how
like,
you get frost damage into your brain.
wow. You know what? I'm sorry, Critical Role. I know you're streaming elsewhere, but you guys got nothing on this group. It's like, I remember people getting stabbed in the back of the heads, little kids, stuff like this. I'm like, you guys got nothing on this party. Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
It doesn't require me as a DM to manipulate anything. All I got to do is bring it together, man. You guys are awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for viewing tonight. I want to give our players a chance to say their goodbyes, promote their what they do. So we're going to start with Colton, because somehow Colton seems to get picked last a lot, and I want to make that mighty goblin barbarian warrior knocking out legs and severing heads first tonight.
So when I thought I was playing Malifaux, I approached one of my friends at work that draws, and asked him to draw me. Pretty much just wanted like a token character, and he ended up drawing me this very nice picture of Malifaux, and I paid him for it. If anybody wants to see.
Love it. You got to go to
Nice.
your right a little bit more. There you go. Perfect.
And
Nope,
if
way
you
too
would like
far.
to check out,
There you go.
if you would like to check out his
Nice.
more of that art, I put his Instagram in the chat.
Wonderful.
I gotta send some stuff to Kitty because she has offered to start
Yes.
drawing things too. And me and Alex are playing a D&D homebrew game on Sundays that will probably end up, if he doesn't kill me, want stuff for that too. So I'll have to buy
Yeah,
a bunch of
I was
stuff.
about to say, don't get your hopes up, man.
I know you don't want me to get Wish. You know what Genie's Wish happens, right? Pretty soon.
So it sounds like,
boy.
Remy, you're the next person to chat.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm currently trying to deal with the emotional trauma my character just went through. Cause it's a lot. There's a head in my lap, metaphorically and literally now. But I do a podcast called the Three Minds Podcast, where people's heads don't normally get chopped off. Our most recent episode was on dogs, and I talked about a space dog named Laika that was sent to space by Russia, and you should check it out. You can check that out over at buzzsprout.com. That's 3 Minds. It's in the chat now. I'm going to toss it over to the other person who I made a chat command for, Kitty Doe.
Hi. I'm Kitty Doe. I run a YouTube channel. I'll plug this at the beginning and the end of each of these streams. If you like animation, you can watch me. But that is beans and potato chips compared to Stranger Thing, which I will pass it over to and what she does.
Oh, hi, I'm a stranger. I also do a podcasty thing. It is called The Deck of Many Queers. You can check us out at deckofqueers.com on the Spotifys, on the tweeters at Deck of Queers. And we do a really queer podcast that some of my players, for some of it, sometimes check in here, and some of my other players from my other game also check in here, who sometimes likes me to draw a lot of cards from the deck of the deck of many things, not the deck of many queer. It's very similar, okay? We have problems over at my show, but they're good problems. So, you feel me? Shout out to my players who are coming in, as well as to all of chat. I'm gonna pass it over to Eric.
Hey guys, I am in fact, once again, I don't have any other
Tom will be down in a
platform here. But I do want to say thank you guys so much for continuing to watch our ridiculous antics. And I guess, lastly, B.O.S.E is a very happy rock monster with his goblin eye now. And I'm so excited to see what... I'm going to try and do something with this thing. Who knows? If you guys have any ideas, let me know in Discord, things like that. But yeah, I'm super excited for next week.
I'm excited for next session. The group goes to jail.
Hey, Colton, you want to talk about your stream real quick?
I haven't been streaming that much. It's just at I think it's at Das Colton Twitch. I'm thinking about doing some Magic the Gathering stuff. But I did want to bring up that I was gonna I'm doing like a one-shot hangout spot for D&D. So if anybody's interested in joining a Discord, you can hit me up. And I don't know, is that appropriate here to put the thing up?
I don't mind. All right.
Do you want me to toss?
I'll
an
just
invite
toss
to your
like a
Discord or
blank invite one, yeah.
So now you all heard what our players are doing, everything else. I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm DM Legend. I'm just a gamer dad, kind of old, been doing my thing, and we stream here on Plot Points. We got another show, Relics of War, that's supposed to be starting up with some veterans, like military veterans, to do some things. So that's actually Eric. You saw him doing a thumbs up. He'll be part of that stream as well. We just love having you here. It's so much fun because I never know what the heck's going on. I just plan in advance, and these guys still haven't figured out, like you saw a picture of Malifor, the fact that, hey, look, tying their histories together. Remember, these guys just came together kind of for the first time. Each of them know one or two others, but they don't know everybody, and we have yet to resolve that issue, which I think many of us thought was going to happen tonight until we decided to kill people. So, thank you very much for being with us tonight. You made this so much fun. I want to wish you all very much, and wherever you are, whatever games you're playing, happy gaming. God bless from all of us here at Plot Points. Good night.
Bye.
And let me find I forgot to put up my closing screen. Sorry, y'all.